This is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. She shall be called woman. It was all woman when you saw me. Any real people in this room?
Soften up the mess, drop it in the water, let the daughter find her image with the rest. She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity, reveal another pretty little scheme. Save her mind, hold her hand, and don't believe a lie, you understand me.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Logracia and if you're new here, and to everyone else that's not new here who is subscribed to this channel, hey cousin. Listen, so this was a couple of days before I took a trip. I just needed to get a few things done before I actually left my house for 5 days. So you guys will see snippets of that a little bit later on. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the term homemaker, housewife, all of those things kind of made me a bit uncomfortable at first because I felt like I didn't live up to the expectation. I think I touched on this in my previous video. If you haven't seen that video, just go back. It's like literally the previous video. Anyway, when I left my job at the end of 2015, my family and I relocated down to Cape Town, and I was supposed to take 3 months off of work to just have us settle in and start a life in a new city. Those 3 months turned to 6 months. Those 6 months turned to a year. And I am almost on, 7 years? 8 years? I don't know. One of those two. So after my maternity leave, I really had very little motivation to be going to work. I went to work, I worked because we needed a second income. And we still need a second income, but God is so good to us. God is so good to us. Like, us being able to do this for 7-8 years is not in our strength. It is definitely in God's strength. So all honor, all praise, and all glory to Him for keeping us and providing every single need throughout all of these years. So this is kind of something I stumbled upon. You know, I didn't prepare myself to be a housewife, to be a stay-at-home mom, to be a homemaker. And for the longest time, it made me uncomfortable because I felt like when I take up this title, I need to drop the title of me going after my dreams and going after my passions and exploring everything else. But what I've come to realize is that I can do 2 things at the same time. I can do more than 2 things at the same time. And doing one thing does not negate another thing. Or being in this part of my life in service to my family does not mean that I am no longer ambitious, or that I no longer have goals, or that I no longer have dreams. And this is not the struggle for everybody who finds themselves as a homemaker or who chooses to be a homemaker. This is just something that I experienced. So it also made it so much easier for me to get better at serving my family because I no longer looked at it as a chore. Yes, I might refer to it as a chore, but I don't view it as chores around the house. I view it as service to my family. I view it as an opportunity for me to make their lives easier. So everything that I do in service to them. And the irony of it all is that they have too stepped up and served me more. My kids serve me more. My husband serves me more. Everybody respects my time. They respect what I do. They respect the effort. And it goes in 2 ways, you know. So it is not a burden for me to be at home. And I think that is one of the first things that I needed to embrace. That is one of the first things that I needed to understand, that this part of my life is in service to my family. And it is a part of my time on earth and my time of motherhood that I'm not going to get back. I'm not going to have the moments when these kids come back from school and they feel absolutely tired and they don't have to wash the dishes and they don't have to clean the house and they don't have to do all of those things, which is a reality for a lot of kids. That was my reality when I was growing up. My mother had to work. My mother is still employed, and they did all of that for us, for me, to be able to do and live the kind of life that I live today. So someone had to sacrifice even before I came along in order for me to live this life. I'm probably living someone else's answered prayer, if I must be honest. This is definitely my answered prayer, but I know for a fact that I'm probably living an answered prayer of so many other women in my family. And that is what makes me grateful. That makes me happy, that makes me fulfilled, and that makes me understand the purpose that I or the role that I'm playing in this season of my life. And then speaking about my mother, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, my mother is a working woman. My mother has worked all my life, and I'm 40. And my earliest memories is that my mother had a job. It was not strange to me that my mother was working. And there was always this emptiness that I felt after school, because so many of my friends' moms did not work, and I always envied that, and the best days were honestly the times when my mother was home, either on maternity leave because I have younger siblings, or when she was off on leave. Those were the best moments because I knew that someone is home. You don't walk into an empty house, even though she didn't cook a meal, or even though it didn't smell like a bakery, or even though all of those things, at least she was there. And those were the best times of me growing up and me thinking about all of this. And that is what I wanted for my kids. That is what I desired for my kids, that when they get home, that there is someone there. I lost a lot of time when I was employed, and as I say, I don't regret working. It had to be done. Someone had to do it. We had to do it together at that point in time. But it was always this longing, always this desire for me to be at home. And my life is the same all the time. And that's what I'm showing you guys, It is the same every single day. Mostly the same every single day, and that's okay. That's another thing that I had to be okay with. I love being at home. If I don't have to go outside, I don't. I don't. I avoid going outside at all costs. I enjoy being home. I absolutely enjoy being home. So the stove I ignored for a few days, and because I was leaving, I just decided, you know what, let me just clean this thing properly and leave it clean, and this is what I was speaking about in the previous video, where I said that I have to be in the mood to do something. Some things need your attention urgently, other things doesn't work on my nerves that easily, and the stove does work on my nerves, but I just learned to ignore it. And I also wanted to record this, but there was no space on my phone, and I'm having issues with my camera. So that's that. You guys are not going to see the end, the end result of the kitchen, because I've done that so many times, and it looks exactly the same all the time. So if you have not seen that, you can refer to one of my older videos. The reason why I went to Johannesburg was to surprise my mother for her birthday, and I struggled to keep it a secret because I've known since July or August that I was going to go up to surprise her for her birthday and be with her on her birthday, because I don't think that since we left Johannesburg that I've been back there for a birthday for my mother. I love and appreciate my parents so much, and I'm going to speak about my mother in this instance because it was her birthday. Also, y'all are going to see snippets of my trip to Joburg. It's not, I thought that I was going to vlog, but it didn't end up that way. I was more present, I was more there. This is the beautiful cake that my mother had, and I'm just taking you guys through the hotel room that we stayed in. But I just want to say, Ma, I love you, and I appreciate you so much, and there is no other woman that I would want to have be my mother than you. Ek is baie lief vir ma, en I love you. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being steadfast. Thank you for being consistent. Thank you for being loyal and reliable, because I could not have done the things that I've done in my life if it was not for you and D. Because baie lief vir julle. I love you so much. So we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched up until this far, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please remember to subscribe, and if you want to, you can leave a comment over there. And Thank you so much, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye bye.